Our research question asks, how does social media use contribute to academic procrastination? In this study, we're looking at the connection between the amount of time students spend on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Snapchat, and how often they put off academic tasks. Since social media is such a big part of everyday life, we want to understand whether it plays a role in distraction, reduced motivation, or difficulties with time management. Overall, our goal is to identify patterns between students' social media habits and their likelihood to procrastinate on schoolwork.
The main justification behind this research is the rise of social media. A 2023 study found that there are now 4.8 billion social media identities, creeping close to 60% of the total global population. It's been shown that adults under 30 often use 5 or more platforms at a higher frequency than other age ranges. With this disproportionate usage, they may experience more negative effects as a result. One of these potential effects, and the one we're interested in, is increased procrastination behaviors. This can be anything from putting off completion of assignments, studying for big exams, or just being prepared for upcoming lectures. These academic procrastination behaviors have been linked to social media usage in the past. Some research has found that increased social media usage leads to the delaying of study sessions, decreased academic motivation, and poorer time management skills. It's also been found that higher enjoyment and frequency of social media checks successfully predicted academic procrastination involving social media itself. Though it may be an obvious assumption, high social media usage has been linked to increased usage during lectures, which directly and negatively impacts students' abilities to learn in class. However, these effects do seem to be reversible, as reductions or cessations of social media use resulted in decreased procrastination and improvements to life satisfaction. Past research has also shown that some people may be more prone to these negative effects than others, as those with more boredom proneness and those with lower self-control tend to procrastinate with social media much more. This topic is quite contentious, as while some may argue that social media is a good way to meet social needs, others argue that it's used with increased frequency when other social needs aren't being met. At the end of the day, the dopamine-driven interaction that makes up the foundation of social media use seems to be incompatible with the skills and behaviors needed to complete a college education effectively. Understanding how social media use can affect a student's level of procrastination can be important in informing students how it can impact their abilities to succeed and potentially used to guide potential interventions for struggling students.
Our hypothesis and variables. Our hypothesis was greater social media use will predict higher levels of procrastination. Variables and how we measured them. The independent variable was social media use. We did this on a reworded version of Ellison's Facebook intensity scale, and we changed the word Facebook to social media. This scale had 8 questions and were asked on a 5-point scale, 1 for strongly disagree to 5 strongly agree, and how many minutes from less than 10 minutes to more than 3 hours as well. Higher scores equals greater frequency and engagement with social media. The dependent variable was academic procrastination. We were measuring the frequency of delaying academic tasks using the academic procrastination scale. This scale had 25 questions, and it was asked on a 5-point scale, 1 to be strongly disagree to 5 strongly agree. Higher scores equaled greater procrastination. Our control variables was age, major, current academic year, and where do you reside. Our methods was online Qualitrix survey, which was 10 to 15 minutes, and our sample size was 136 undergrad students.
Students completed an anonymous online questionnaire about their social media habits and procrastination levels. Each variable was measured using the established scales, which was Facebook intensity scale and the academic procrastination scale. And after we had finished collecting the data, we ran an analysis using SPSS and running correlation and regression to test if higher social media use predicts greater academic procrastination.
Analysis and expected results. expected results. We expect to find a positive relationship between social media use and academic procrastination. Specifically, students who report spending more time on social media are predicted to show higher levels of procrastination on the academic procrastination scale. Key takeaways: increased social media use may reduce focus, motivation, and effective time management. Procrastination behaviors appear linked to how frequently and intensely students engage with social media. Small changes in social media habits can help improve productivity and reduce stress around schoolwork. Our research highlights how social media can easily become a major distraction for students, lowering motivation and increasing procrastination. Recognizing these patterns can help students make small changes that improve time management and productivity. Overall, finding balance between social media use and academics is key to supporting academic success.
After survey information was compiled, final scores were calculated for both social media intensity and level of academic procrastination. Results from the linear regression model are reported in Figure 1, showing overall model was significant and explained about 8.2% of the variance in procrastination levels. The intensity of social media use was a significant predictor of procrastination level, which indicates that participants reporting higher levels of social media use also reported higher levels of procrastination than those with lower levels of social media use.
Our discussion. While the study did provide important contributions to the conversation between social media use and procrastinations, these are some of the implications and limitations. For implications, social media use is associated with academic procrastination consistent with prior research. The study brought more to the conversation about how social media affects students in procrastinating, more taking away from their academic performances. Limitations. So for limitations, we have the cross-sectional design. Since our data was only collected at one point in time, the design prevents casual conclusions from being drawn. The self-report measures is, since our study was collected through self-report, there was no way of knowing if participants answered truthfully. Since we had a single site sample, it limits generalizability. And limited variables, the study only focused on social media use and procrastination, which limits the results since psychological factors such as stress, self-control, motivation could also contribute to procrastination levels.
Looking ahead, there are several ways this research could be expanded. One important step would be using a longitudinal design where we follow students over time. This would help us understand whether social media use actually leads to higher procrastination instead of just being correlated with it. Another direction is including additional psychological factors like stress, motivation, and self-control. These could give us a more complete picture of why students procrastinate. Future studies could also look at more specific platforms. For example, TikTok may impact students differently than Instagram or Snapchat, so breaking that down could be really informative. It would also be useful to test different interventions, such as limiting screen time or encouraging short digital detox periods, to see if reducing social media use could actually decrease procrastination. Lastly, expanding the sample to multiple universities or more diverse groups would help make the results more generalizable and give us a better understanding of how these patterns show up in different student populations.